I believe that God made me for a purpose, for China, but he also made me fast. And when I run, I feel his pleasure.
No actual chariots were set aflame in the making of this film. I am the Wiz! Alright everybody, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. If you like my review, please leave a like on this video. And if you want to watch more, please subscribe. I do 3 reviews a week on this channel. Alright everybody, I am reviewing the 1981 Oscar-winning biopic Chariots of Fire, directed by Hugh Hudson. I have a slight confession to make here. Sports movies aren't my thing, and by not my thing, I mean most of them are kind of meh, while I think a few are actually alright. It's kind of why I never watched the Rocky movies amongst other beloved sports films. But since I've been reviewing movies on YouTube and on podcasts, I've been making a more concerted effort to at least watch some of them that are considered the best. I've watched and reviewed classics like Field of Dreams, Hoosiers, and Warrior, just to come away from most of them going, it's okay for a sports movie, I guess. The one exception, of course, was last year when I reviewed Challengers, which is by far, in my mind, the best sports movie I have ever seen. With that said, it may not be a surprise to find that I was completely underwhelmed by the Oscar-winning Chariots of Fire. It's a film that has some nice visuals that evoke the time period it's set in, but the romanticism of running, competition, and faith comes off way too dry and slow to be engaging. With visuals, though, director Hugh Hudson definitely wants you to feel the beauty of England, Scotland, and the form of the human athlete. He often sets races, both planned and impromptu, in picturesque landscapes that feel particularly distinctive. Scenes set in Scotland are especially gorgeous. The eye-catching green from the hills and lands are breathtaking to look at. The way he shoots the preparation and actual running is also lovingly detailed. Precious time is spent watching men stretching, preparing to race by digging holes. Then when the race starts, it's shot in detailed slow motion, so you can see the movement of not only the runners, but the detail of their muscles as they move in concert with the actors running. It definitely has the feel that it was made by someone who loves, admires, and is amazed by athleticism and running. If you are really into running, Chariots of Fire on visuals would be an astounding picture to watch. But if you're like me who really isn't, it feels incredibly indulgent and boring. There's only so much running in slow motion that I can watch before I sit bored wondering when is it going to end. There's only so much running in slow motion that I can watch before I sit bored wondering when it's going to end. This is because the film doesn't really do much with the characters other than make them into people who just want to win and are obsessed with running. With that, I give a collective, no shit, they're trying to compete in the Olympics. But the film doesn't give the why other than in small, thin details that seem inconsequential. Great films tend to make topics that people aren't interested in by creating characters and stakes that people can identify with. Maybe they need to find their self-worth or respect from a family member, or even need money to do something. Something as simple as that could help someone not into a sport get into the story itself. The problem is, the reasons for these characters are so dry and lacking emotional heft that there's nothing to really identify with other than the glory to win. This leads to 2 characters where I have an idea of what they are about, but not an understanding. The problem is, the film seems to concentrate more on the glory of competition and running than crafting these characters. And I'm going to note here, this is a big issue with this film. I understand if you are an athlete or you are very competitive, you would hear that and go, well yeah, it's competition, they want to win. Okay, fine, I get that. But when it comes to, like, character building, it's very dry. It really isn't much to it. I'll take, for an example, a movie that I thought was okay, but I think did the character better, which was Hoosiers, which is the coach that was played by Gene Hackman. You get to learn a little bit more about him other than he likes to win. And that's with really any kind of sports film, to be honest. And that's with any kind of sports film, honestly. The best sports films give more than just they want to win the competition. There's an inner strife. There is something they want to prove, or there's something they want to grow from that makes them want to practice as hard as they do to compete and win. And that's what makes those characters interesting. This film has very little of that, and to the point where it just does not seem to actually help the characters. So I'll move on from there. Finally, there is a positive element of the film that is also bad. The music. To be honest, I think the music is good. It's easy to see why some think that this is one of the best scores in film. But the film adds to the romanticism of the subject being told. If you're into the film, it's a great thing. If, like me, you aren't into the film, its slow beat will just be something to fight off not going to sleep during the film. So I'm going to note here as well, that may sound weird. I do like the score. I think it's actually really well done. But I gotta be honest, I think the score is well done. I think if outside of the film, I think it would be interesting to hear. But honestly, when you're bored with the characters and the running doesn't do anything for you, and the visuals, as nice as they are in some scenes, don't do much, to have this like kind of slow score to cap off everything that's happening in the movie, it really kind of was a struggle at times to watch, because I'm like, oh my god, I like this music, but I kind of want to fall asleep. So that called me crazy, but that's what happens. And that makes Chariots of Fire dry and boring. When the film concentrates so much on the sport with exhausting detail and little on characters and story, it was hard not to get bored by it. It feels like the same problem I had with Field of Dreams. Unless you are so into the sport, it's hard to see how some will enjoy this. My final note on that one, yes, I know there are a lot of people who love this film, and yeah, there is probably a good chance that some of you weren't into running when you watched it, but that's just really my feeling of it. I don't understand how someone who is not into running and not love running in competition would see this and be interested in it. So yeah, that's just me. Feel free to comment if you disagree. Alright, so before I get to my rating, let's see what other people thought about this film. Letterboxd users has it at a 3.4 out of 5. Rotten Tomatoes has it at a fresh rating of 80%. And this was nominated for 7 Oscars, and it won 4. And the 4 it won was Best Picture, Director, Screenplay, and Music. I am giving this 1 star out of 5. I cannot tell you how bored I was throughout this film. I didn't find any of the characters all that interesting, and even when the film was romanticizing the subject that it was talking about, it was really a struggle to remain interested in the film. Now, part of it is because I am not interested in running or competition in that matter, so that might be where my headspace was at, watching this going, okay, it's interesting seeing how the running is in slow motion, but god damn, can we move on, please? But I will say, if you are interested in that stuff, or into competition, or that, or really into sports, I could see some people enjoying this movie. To me, it was just not an enjoyable experience at all. So 1 star out of 5 for me for Chariots of Fire. It's available to rent on YouTube and Amazon Prime if you are interested. And I gotta be honest with you, if you are into sports, I would say check it out. You might be into it. Alright guys, let me know what your thoughts are on the review. Thank you for watching. See you guys next time.
I'm forever in pursuit, and I don't even know what it is I'm chasing. Aubrey, old chap, I'm scared.
Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. If you didn't, please subscribe. And if you have questions or comments, go ahead and leave a comment whether you liked it or not. It just helps, you know. If you want my written reviews, you can go onto my Letterboxd at IamThatWiz, or you can go to my website at IamTheWiz.com. Thank you very much again for watching. See you next time.